Okay, welcome everybody. Going into Oklahoma week. It's not to my surprise that playing Oklahoma, who's a top 10 team, every year for the last 16 years I've went against these guys. They've been a top 10 team, so this is no different. It's the same. Bob Stoops coached Oklahoma team, extremely talented, play hard, effort, play with a chip on their shoulder, play with an attitude. That's no different this year than it's been. So everybody's excited about this matchup, and I know our guys will prepare hard this week to give themselves a chance to beat the mighty Sooners. So. Excited about that. Offensively, they're playing as good as anybody in the country. Everything starts with the quarterback. They got an outstanding quarterback. Mayfield just continues to get better. Plays with grit. Makes plays. Takes care of the football. Scrambles around. Does a great job in the run game. Is accurate with his passes. What he's doing with the Westbrook dude is impressive. I haven't seen a combo put up with these kind of numbers in a long time here recently. Didn't have the start that they wanted, but over the last 6 games, what they've done is really impressive. So that'll be a challenge. He's the best receiver we've went against. There's no doubt. And then the running back combination that they got. OU's always going to try to run the ball. They're averaging 42 runs a game. They're running it more than they're throwing it, and they're throwing for a ton of yards, over 340 yards a game. But they're going to get their run game going. They're going to run it first. Their run-pass ratio is similar to ours. So they're going to focus on the run, and got two of the best running backs in the country, and they'll put them both back there at the same time. So whether it's split backs, 2 backs, we know P. Ryan's going to be healthy in a week better. We've seen what he can do for a couple of straight years, but they're really good in the run game. They've got an outstanding receiver in Westbrook. Their tight ends, their next guy, this Andrews kid out of Arizona, is really a talented guy. Big, can block, do different gaps, but is a huge receiving threat as well. So their O-line, they're getting better. We know Beatonbow's as good as there is out there, and continuously coaches these guys up to get them better. They're young. I think they're struggling a little bit early, but they're young. They're getting better, and they're pretty dang good. Defensively, I would warn you on looking at stats. If you just look at what our defense did last week, gave up 500 yards, but held Texas to 20 points. It's not about yards. Guys in the Big 12 are going to get yards. Oklahoma's given up some yards, but they're a good defense. They've been battling a lot of injuries. They're getting guys back that are healthy. They're playing a lot of young kids. They're starting 2 true freshmen. They've got, I think, 6 or 7 of them, 8 of them, and they're 2 deep that are true freshman bodies. So they're going to get guys back. Who knows how many of those guys that are hurt are going to be able to play. We're expecting them all to, which is going to give them the depth that they're used to and the players that they're used to. With that said, they got guys that can fly around and make plays. Same secondary we went against last year. It's the same scheme. Bob and Mike have been doing it for a long time. Arguably the 2 best defensive minds in football. So those guys are playing well, and no less extremely well. Special teams, always something they've been good at. They do a great job with their cover teams. You can recruit good bodies just like Texas can. You can recruit good bodies at Oklahoma, so they're going to have big, fast guys that can run down the field and cover, and then set up returns. With Westbrook and Mixon, their return games probably the most dangerous in the country. Westbrook has changed games. P. Ryan's back there averaging I'm sorry, Mixon's been back there averaging almost 30 yards on kick returns. So 2 of the best when it comes to offense, 2 of the best when it comes to returners. But what makes great special teams is having adequate bodies that can run fast and tackle and run fast and block. So that'll be challenging as well. Yeah, we're excited about a top 10 matchup, Morgantown, Saturday night, 8 o'clock. All that's good, but what our team focuses on is the next game. That's what this group has done. Let's prepare hard to put ourselves in position. But I know the atmosphere is going to be great. I'm happy for Mountaineer Nation to be able to have this to look forward to on Saturday night. We'll get ready to play and put a good product out there that they can be proud of. Coach Hunter?
Is it hard for kids to block out outside noise in moments like this?
Well, yeah, with telephones and social media and all that, it is. There's going to be buzz around campus. We've played in some big games. I mean, none bigger than the one we played last week. That was a pretty big one that I thought our guys did a good job of just focusing in on what it is. It better not affect them. If it does, we won't win. So you got to focus on the next one. If you're fortunate enough to go win this one, then the most important one is the next week. Going to Iowa State, you think that's going to be easy? I mean, it could be the most challenging game we got. So. You got to be in the routine. We got good older kids that understand that all we do is preach about what's important is the next one, worry about what you control, block everything out. Didn't listen to people when they said we were bad. Don't listen to them when they say you're good, that sort of thing. It's been a constant communication all year when it comes to that. So I think our guys are at a point where they know how to block everything out.
Danny, you mentioned their running backs. What about your running backs? What's the situation with them?
Kenny McCoy, I thought played well. That's why he was our player of the week. For a true freshman to stand in, get in there and not, it didn't affect him at all. And he was about the only one we played. When it gets right down to it, I mean, I've been saying you got to have a second guy and a third guy and probably a fourth guy in order to get through a game. If we could have not turned the ball over and moved the ball a little bit better, then we probably would have had to went to somebody else. Eli took some snaps off of him. Petaway was ready to go. He practiced all week. Didn't think Russ could go. Put him in, couldn't go. Didn't think Crawford could go. Went in there, didn't like what we saw. So. Go out there and practice again today. Guys want to play, they got to practice. So we'll see if they do that.
Danny, was Crawford something new, or did he aggravate?
It's the same thing. They got a lower extremity injury down below the waist. So they've been dealing with the same thing.
Danny, you said you were going to do some reevaluating on the offense. Did you do that, and what result did you come to?
Need to play better.
Okay.
Is that a good one? If we want to win, we need to play better. I mean, we play good in spurts. We're very inconsistent. And if we want to win, then we need to play better consistently. I don't know how else to put it. We went in there, started good on offense, and got some points on the board. 17. In the first, I think, 4 drives, we had 17. The turnover on the 5 just. But anyway, we did okay, and then I don't know if we just got complacent or we felt like we did enough. Wanted defense to go out there and win it. Not quite sure, but just didn't play very good. You need to be more consistent. And I'm not talking about consistently making big plays. I'm talking about consistently making average plays.
Coach, have you changed your philosophy style as a coach, and how have you changed over the 6 years you've been here?
In regards to what?
As they're just coaching style, I know you're looking more defense now, seems like they're spending more time with the defense. I didn't notice that when you first, do you feel like you've changed as a coach since you've been here?
Yeah, I have. I mean, when I first got here, I was an offensive coordinator. There is a point after our first year in the league, and we've talked about this a lot, but after the first year in the league, we started doing some things differently. How we practice, how we call plays, how we, what we run offensively, how we recruit, that sort of thing. I think we did some things that have helped the program, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. So yeah, I think I have a good bit. I think we got philosophies on all three sides of the ball right now. I think are good. And I think that with the philosophies that we have on all three sides of the ball, I think it's. I think you're seeing wins because of it.
Dana, how do you get Skylar to get back in his group? I mean, obviously the interceptions hurt you.
Yeah, just make routine plays. I don't know. He's played a lot of ball around here, so we're gonna coach him. We're gonna practice the same way that we have. We need to be more consistent. We can't have I'd prefer, I guess, a lot of the higher moments, but we can't have the game-changing moments. Just can't have it. If we want to win, we can't have it. But the biggest thing that I'm stressing with these guys offensively is just be consistent. Be consistent with how you practice. Be consistent with how you play.
Do you feel like your best offensive game is still out there because there's been some really good yardage games, but didn't necessarily haven't translated to points?
Well, if it's not, then we won't win at some point. So, I've been disappointed in our improvement. I've been disappointed in our improvement. So I think it's still out there. I think it can be out there, but I got to coach better. We got to, as an offensive staff, we got to coach better. As an offense, we got to practice better. It probably helped to get a little healthy, a little more healthy than we are right now. You got to grind through it. You got to practice. You got to get out there, and you got to be determined and prepared, and ready to go. Probably at some point this year, we're going to need offense to play better if we're going to run one.
Do you think your best attributes as a team maybe don't show up in the box with the way you guys have won games?
I would say that's the main reason we've won. I couldn't be prouder of this team when it comes to just their mentality that exists with each other. I mean, good bunch of guys, care about each other, like to be around each other. As funny as that sounds, that doesn't exist everywhere. I can assure you that. It hadn't existed in this room since I've been here. Although this room is only 2 years old. But I've been on a lot of teams, and the teams, those guys just they're just kind of teammates. They're not friends. But this group really likes each other. Our camaraderie with all three sides is good. The coaching is good. I see defensive coaches cutting up with offensive players all the time. I see offensive players cutting up with defensive players, and there's just a lot of good interaction. And they do what they got to do. They expect to win. They do what they got to do to try to find a way to win in the end for the majority of the time. That's a great quality to have.
You can't
Fun to coach.
manufacture that as a coach, can you?
I think you can cultivate that environment, definitely. I think you can cultivate that environment, definitely, we have cultivated that environment in a lot of different ways. But the players deserve a lot of credit for that.
Do you remember if you even had a shot with the, I know Lonnie was on him for a while there, but during recruiting?
Well, yeah, there's always initial interest, but he's a Texas kid, so that was a good fit for him right up the road. Good player. He was a good player at Blinn, and has continuously gotten better. you can see, going back a year ago, Mayfield was looking for number 3. You know, the Shepherd kid, who's playing pretty good for the Giants now. But now he's looking for him, you know, which is why the numbers are going up. They're 2 great players. And again, Westbrook's doing things that are pretty impressive.
Do you expect Noble back this week, and would you talk a little bit about Schuler's?
Yeah, I don't. It's why we practice. You know, what we thought Noble had a chance to go on Saturday, and just had a hard time pulling the trigger. So we'll see how he is today. I'm expecting him back, but see how he is today. Can't say enough about Schuler and Reese Donahue. Both those cats, you know, 2 freshmen going into that game. Schuler got his first start, played well, has a chance to be a really, really good player. And then Reese Donahue going in as a true freshman, just playing his tail off. He's got a bright future here as well.
See an offensive line, you just juggling at Texas, decide which one to do there moving forward, or?
Yeah, just, you know, we'll keep moving them around. I think the best, we'd like to get our best 5 out there and just play them every snap. That's just really not reality. You know, you got to give guys a break every now and then. And, you know, we feel like we got 7 guys right now, you know, with the 5 starters and Grant and Marcel that have played. You know, those guys are all going to play. You know, they got to play good. If they don't, then we'll keep rotating people. But I would expect that to continue as the year goes on.
Dana, this is maybe just my observation, but it seems like with the way offenses have gone and it's fast and a lot of points, that some teams like to have it easy, and you know they
got what?
Just like to have it easy, and when it isn't easy, they kind of fold up a little bit. I guess what part of your success, all these struggles you've talked about, that you all have been able to accept that it's not going to be easy and still, you know, stay in your lane and win 24-20, but also you've had those games you have thrown up points and yards too, and it's not like one identity, I guess.
Well, you know, let's not forget the opponent might have something to do with that.
Right.
I will give Charlie credit, and those guys were ready to play. I mean, just the pregame aspect of that, you could sense that those guys were ready to play. And I thought they had a good plan on defense. They got great players on defense. They're going to get better and better and better. You know, they may have had something to do with our struggles offensively. So there's that. Everybody, I mean, it's human nature to want it to be easy, but that's not reality in college football. I mean, everything's hard. You know, we talked about that. Everything about my job's hard. Everything about our assistant coach's job's hard because it's so competitive. I mean, every week you're looking at a group that's doing the same stuff, you know, with a lot of the same players, so it's hard. You know, if you want to be successful, you got to be mentally tough, and you got to put the last one behind you and go out and attack, practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and get prepared to go play your best on Saturday. There's nothing easy about that. If it was easy, everybody do it.
Coach, with just the way Coach Gibson, if you could talk about what the kids on defense, the younger guys, the way they progressed, and just if you could speak on that a little bit, please.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing. I tell you, the biggest thing we got defensively was we got an identity, and Tony's doing a great job. Believes in the scheme, understands the scheme, calls it just outstanding. Got older players that understand what to do and go out there and they play. And then if you don't have younger guys like Schuler and Reese, and, Toya Avery went out there and we got some good quality snaps out of him. If you don't have a good combination of that, then you don't have depth. So, group that believes in what they're doing, a group that believes in the scheme, understands the scheme, coaches that get it, and get the most out of our guys defensively. I can say that, proud of that as well.
Dana, how's Draven and his recovery?
Good. Yeah, we took him and Jaleel this week. We took him on the trip to Texas. They wanted to go. Jaleel is a lot farther along. There's a chance he'll get cleared for the bowl game. So we may get him back in December. But Drayvon's good. I mean, he comes into the meetings a lot, interacts with the guys. You know, if you tell me we're going to Texas and gonna hold them to 20 points, win the game without our two best defensive players, Drayvon and Noble, say, ooh, that'd be tough. You know, but that says a lot about our defense, our coaches, our guys that just get guys plugged in and they don't want to let anybody down. They want to go in there and they want to play hard.
Danny, you got 3 members of the White family here producing for you. You probably wish you had them all for 4 years, but what binds them together? And is there something special about that family maybe, other than just athletic ability?
Oh yeah, and they're a very, very tight-knit family. It's been fun getting to know them. You know, Mom and Dad are awesome. I've been to their house a couple of times. They've been to my house a couple of times just through the recruiting process. But it's, you know, with the bond that they have, you know, talking about, you know, what Kevin had with with DeKeel and Wendell, carried over to Karan coming in for a year, having that same relationship with DeKeel, and then Kaiser comes in. You know, that exists with our whole team, you know, but what that family is a special family. They're very close. You know, their older brother's a good dude that's always around, comes to all the games. You know, the younger sister just signed with Auburn as a basketball player. Very, very talented family, but a very tight-knit family that cares about each other. You know, and when you have that kind of support, you tend to do good. So it's been fun to get to know them. You know, glad we got them for another year. I don't know if I ever find a family or meet a family like it. From the ability, but just quality people.
Along those lines, Dana, what do you think of Karan's improvement?
He's getting better. He's getting better. He's getting better, becoming more consistent. There is you know, he's still got a long ways to go. Kaiser's got a long ways to go. They both do. They're both on track to being really good. They're on track to being really good.
The leadership of Al Rashid, how important has that been for your defense?
He's the vocal guy. Love Al. You know, recruited Al. You know, and Al overcame a lot to get here, and it's been great. You know, waited his turn. You know, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. You know, he goes in. You know, Jared Barber was a huge presence for us last year, and he went out in game 2. Al went in there as the player of the game. You know, but Al was huge on special teams. What Al did on special teams for us last year, we're getting that out of Marvin Gross right now, out of Xavier Preston right now. Sean Walters is doing that. But now Al's in a middle linebacker team leader type situation. So he's our vocal leader. You know, makes all the calls on defense. You know, trust him. Is just a very, very huge presence and a positive leader.